All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, friends of Frisbee here at Bob Dean's Field, or those watching from home, or potentially work if you have one of those jobs that affords you that little bit of flexibility. Welcome to the second stream coverage of the 2024 Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships. We have in our first stream game of the women's division, Phoenix from Christchurch on the left-hand side of your screen, playing out of the orange uniforms, facing off against Wellington's BeybLadies, a relatively new club. Has only had one one Ultimate Championships appearance before. My name, as always, is Blair Monroe, and I am joined in the booth by the inimitable, the impeccable, the unreplicatable Kelsey Bielick.
Shucks, thank you, Blair. Good to be with you all today. In the second game, the disc has gone up. We have Phoenix on the left side of your screen. They're coming down on defense. They're in orange. Meanwhile, BeybLadies in purple. We've got Silverman with the disc swinging wide.
Finds Marcin, who drives towards the midfield.
Great movements and connections right off the bat here from BeybLadies. We see, and I love this, Phoenix coming down in a zone offense. It looks like they're playing a junk, so that's mark on the handlers, person match, and then a diamond downfield. We've got the middle, and then the two wings in the deep. So really interesting to just challenge that offense. Again, just come out running, firing right away. Have them to just have to think creatively about how they will break open an offense. BeybLadies right here, taking a few moments to find those open players, but not seeming to have really any issues moving the disc.
Ken Ross managing to find kills all in the midfield space. Looking back, finds Silverman.
And Silverman's such an experienced thrower. She has so much experience. She represented New Zealand at U24s, and they put the first point on the board. We don't have the number here, but a great point for BeybLadies. As I was mentioning, Silverman running the offense. She's quarterbacking there in the center, and she represented New Zealand in U24s. She's got such depth, such experience, and we can see poise with the throws. She's moving the disc. She's taking her time, finding options, and just waiting for things to open up as they are, snaking it through the middle.
So,
and a beautiful connection for the point.
So at the very first New Zealand Mixed Masters competition that was held in Hamilton towards the end of last year, I picked up for an Equilibrium team based out of Wellington, and I had the absolute privilege of sharing the field with Sarah Silverman, and I have to admit, it's an incredibly reassuring thing as a handler to look over and see that Sarah Silverman is part of your handler set. It's just a lot of confidence. She's very calm. She's very controlled with the disc, and just that knowledge that you'll be able to find her in that handler space and give her the disc and then let something unfold from that. It's really just fantastic. So we're going to see the BeybLadies. It's going to be Melissa McLeod with the disc to start off with the pull.
And conditions right now. So this morning in the first game, again, this is the second right now, it was quite cold. It was a cold morning in Christchurch, but it's really calm. We've got classic Canterbury weather. The sun's coming up and we're expecting it to be a warm day in the afternoon. It's starting to dry up the dew that was on the grass this morning, so the disc is drying out. Nonetheless, it's still difficult to reel in throws like that. But there's no wind, is what I wanted to comment on, and it's rare that you find such still conditions as this. So no wind, beautiful. You know, this is it's like indoor experiences, except you're playing on grass. The sun's coming up, not too much glare. It's a beautiful time of day, beautiful conditions to be playing Ultimate Frisbee here at the Division 2 Championships.
Puts one up for kills all. We're seeing that same zone defense and a quick turnover by Phoenix, looking to throw for Siahani Royal. Can she get there?
Oh, and
not quite.
Such an athletic player. Siahani Royal is not afraid to throw her body on the line. I've seen some fantastic bids that she's put out before. We've got fans from the sideline. They're cheering on the field, and they're cheering here in the commentary booth.
Kills all with the disc now, looking for McLeod, but that zone is quite oppressive.
What an interesting throw. She looking for the break side as it was coming strike. Throwing to the open side, Phoenix with the point.
Great work there to tie up the game for the first match in the 2024 first match streamed of the 2024 Women's Division for the Ultimate Championships. Great work there.
And I just want to comment on that throw. One thing that I think people often forget when they're on the far sideline there, the force was forehand. So the force was backhand. It was cross field, but oftentimes people can get really hung up looking straight in front of them. Let's see that one more time. Looking straight in front. There's a desire often to throw straight in front. She had the whole field open, Looks like a bit of a foot drag, but nonetheless found that crossfield open side. A really safe decision and a really beautiful point. Well done on Phoenix to recognize both sides of the field, the open and the break, regardless if there was no mark. But yeah, a nice point for Phoenix.
Absolutely, and you, I mean, you're absolutely right, Kelsey. You talk about this tendency for people to look directly in front of them, as we call that, particularly in the further removed you are from a very high level ultimate. We're talking sort of international players. A tendency for players to cram it up the cram hole, or jam it up the jam hole. You're looking to just make a series of passes over and over into what you think is the viable space, when realistically, if you've got downfielders who are playing as a team in the same way that the Phoenix were, we talked about how, particularly in the previous game with regards to Blue Skies and Exiles, they often had two players cutting for the desk. We saw the same thing for the Phoenix just there. The first player got overthrown, but there was someone behind to pick it up. We see a great pull there by the Phoenix, touching down relatively early, but a huge chase from the side from Christchurch to establish that same zone defense, I believe.
So BeybLadies set up in a zone offense, looks like a horizontal stack as well. And as Blair just mentioned, yep, that same zone defense. So it's an interesting decision. Right now they're really challenging the offense against Silverman quarterbacking in the middle with the disc. Oh, some contact. Real contact.
Mackenzie deciding to get a little bit physical in a non-contact sport, but Marson comes down with it anyway.
Yeah, just commenting on that defense again, though, an interesting decision in such calm conditions as these to be throwing a zone. And right now, BeybLadies is doing a really great job, as we did with the last point that it was thrown, at finding those open options.
Pippa Marson puts the long shot up. Who's there?
Oh.
A beautiful reception there by Nakazono. Karin Nakazono with the score for Pippa, despite having to bounce off a great defensive bid there by Rachel McKenzie, managing to put one away, going full-on Pippa mode.
Full-on Pippa mode. And we saw this in the last game. Blair, you were commenting on this a little bit, the importance of backing teams up, of backing each other up with throws. Case in point right there, really well recognized by Nakazono, as she sees where the disc is going. Pippa going full-on Pippa, seeing that downline hawk, but as it fades, Nakazono in perfect position to clean that up and put another one on the board.
And so, BeybLadies up by one. We're going to see Coach Hamish Thornton take a knee and talk them through maybe some last-minute defensive adjustments that they need. Their defense has been working really, really well. They've been able to generate turnovers, which is better than I was able to do with the petrol generator we're using here at Bob Dean Field this morning. Much like a bad defensive line, I had to work really, really hard to just get one turnover. But the BeybLadies having no such trouble. They're going to come down on defense once again. We're seeing Pippa Marson one more time, Melissa McLeod, a couple of other stalwarts from that BeybLadies side. We will see how they face off against the Phoenix line, who look to be indicating that if there is a turnover, they'll be forcing towards the near sideline on your screen. So keep an eye out for that if the BeybLadies defense is able to do what it wants to.
And one thing I wanted to comment on is also the coaches on both teams. Really great to see here in Division 2. Also in Division 1, teams, the disc goes up.
Great take there by Marla Hayes. Looks to connect, but can't close that one out. So it's going to be McLeod to pick up and initiate for the BeybLadies.
I didn't like that continuation throw. She was so keen on that catch, so keen to continue it, and a potential open option, but it's a really challenging throw to make. Phoenix really showing that they can take to the skies like a bird and tear that disc down. Two great high catches in a row.
Hayes to Taylor. Manages to push one through, continuing to Rio Hamilton. Supported in that upfield space, but decides to push towards the far sideline for Marla Hayes.
So we've got a vertical stack now with a lot of handlers back, a lot of people back, sneaky one-handed catch, and they're liking that break side, the backhand throws.
So that was Hamilton with the assist. Great work there, looking for Naitoro for the score by the looks of things. Some fantastic work there by the Phoenix, absolutely burning up the BeybLadies there on that one. It was that, as you said, that sneaky catch. It was a little bit behind the back too, so maybe overrun, but still having the awareness to get the read and get a hand to it, and then seeing that space in front and just putting a nice floaty disc through for someone else to run onto. Some great offensive flow there by Phoenix as they put another one on the board.
Absolutely, and interesting to see also, Blair, consistently, the first point they scored was that crossfield backhand. The second attempt there was a crossfield backhand that was a bit too far, and then the third point, the second point, but the third attempt was that same crossfield backhand. So they're really enjoying this far side, the away side of the field, closer to us, closer to the camera, doing a really great job with those those flat backhands, swinging them to the side. We'll see if they continue that or if they pull some other end zone plays out of the pocket. Great point for Phoenix regardless. They'll be coming out on defense now, picking up. Interesting to see if they come down in another junk zone. I would like to see them potentially go match defense, as BeybLadies have done such a calm, poised, beautiful job of breaking that zone, really. It's slowing things down a little bit, but I think it would be prudent if Phoenix wanted to recognize maybe throwing a different type of zone or coming out match. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, so what we've seen previously from the Phoenix, just to piggyback off what Kelsey was saying, is typically an arrowhead zone. So they've got one player really aggressively marking on the disc. Looks like they're shifting things up a little bit to that match defense. So sticking to those person assignments, we say kills the law, but it's intercepted by the Phoenix. Tries to go back the other way. A little bit wobbly, but manages to find Vondelay.
Into the hands of Silverman on defense. There's a lot of clustering around the disc right now, a lot of congestion.
Great high side, far side shot to Pippa Marcin.
Cracks it open though. And another defensive turn, a lot of turns this points.
Rasheen Harris manages to get the interception. Finding now with Rossino.
And McGregor looking for options. Now Phoenix has opened things up a little bit, not quite the same congestion that we were seeing before. In a vertical stack, great undercuts. Zarifa takes to the knee to clean it up, and it's another turnover. I want to see BeybLadies just take a moment to clean things up. Yeah, that's a much better spacing on the field now.
So we're going to have Schnauer with the disc. Looking early, finds Silverman, losing yards in the process. But again, with the confidence that she's able to display, we're going to see whether or not Rosingo is going to be able to generate that turnover. Looks like it's going to happen. Rosingo is going to rush to pick up, looks over the disc in favor of Rasheen Harris.
And I just want to comment on Jane's cutting right now. So Jane's just got that defensive play. She's on Phoenix number 11 and then streaked deep to look for that continuation. She didn't get it, but just a nice movement. The disc goes up.
Harris puts it up.
It's got some hang time. Not an issue for
DeBarletta with the score for Phoenix to take the lead. So it's now 3-2 up over the BeybLadies from Wellington.
So what are Phoenix doing right now? How did they get that turnover? What are they doing to get that point? So that last point, we saw a lot of turnovers between both teams. A lot of really quick possession followed by a turn, and that was due to, I think in a few cases, misexecution, strong defense. James with the defensive run-through that put the point on the board there. But one thing I do want to comment on here, Silverman, once again, looking for that swing, and Jane's coming in, getting a hand to it, and then she streaks deep to look for that continuation. But again, Phoenix right now, they're doing a really great job of making catches. Ultimate at the end of the day, regardless of the strategy, if you're on offense, can you throw and can you catch? And Phoenix showing that they're doing a really great job, really safe hands, reading the disc. You know, whatever comes out, they have it. They're in the right place, and they have safe hands to reel it in.
So one of the things that I think the Phoenix have done really, really well is kind of recognize that maybe their zone wasn't working. I think it's a really, really smart strategy. Maybe the conditions aren't super optimal for a zone. Typically, you'd play a zone when there's a lot of high wind, because what you're essentially doing is looking to shut down easy space rather than trusting those one-on-one matchups. As conditions are quite stable here at Bob Dean's Field, a zone is still going to be effective, but its efficacy is going to be limited by the quality of the weather that we're seeing. So well done to the council for dialing that one in. What that means, though, is that Phoenix have recognized, hey, BeybLadies are able to play a short game. They're able to play around that zone because those players up the front who are marking those handlers are giving them a little bit of space, because they're not worried about the players as threats, they're worried about the space as threats. By making that mental shift and saying, hey, let's commit to some match defense instead, they've managed to shut down a lot of those options. We're seeing BeybLadies get those, throw those turns off longer options.
And another thing here, just to comment, this is Wellington launching it deep. Oh, but misread. Anyway, just commenting, when you're throwing a zone on a team that's coming from Wellington, this developmental club BeybLadies, they're learning to throw and catch in the windiest conditions I've seen in the world. Wellington is as the windiest city in the world. So just important to recognize that as well. BeybLadies have the throw. They have one more opportunity on offense right now.
Schnauer puts it up. It's got some blade behind it. Just manages to overthrow. Marina Kilzel.
I'd like to see their end zone play in situations like that, where there's a bit more time to set up on offense. Nonetheless, seeing that open player can't quite connect. Phoenix on offense. Oh, what a beautiful open side throw. Finding Siohani Royal, launching it deep to
Can
James.
she get a read? Yes, she can. Where's the next option?
Grace in catching. We see the quarterback, the classic Phoenix crossfield backhand, and another backhand goes up. James can't find it.
It was a great low shot right across the bows of the BeybLadies defense to find Neve Hall with the disc, who tries to continue with that backhand, but not able to get that connection. We're going to see Melissa McLeod pick up and initiate again.
Decision, though. I love that decision. Neve Hoare seeing that open player, and you know what? While it did fade a little bit, I think it was a great decision. We're going to see that result in a point, I think, if she throws that again in the future.
Great little slash cut by Schnauer. Pippa mode, comes up with it. The big backhand can't get underneath it. That's going to be Von Delay with the disc to initiate and get some quick give and goes to eat up some yards as the BeybLadies defense tries to sack off and eat up some space. But we find a quick reset and swing to the far sideline, finding Siohani Royal. Schnauer not able to get a hand to it. It's going to be Rasheen Harris working that far sideline, touches over the top of Neve Hoare's outstretched hands because of a great defensive play by Marina Kieselol.
She's in the perfect position there. She sees it high and knows that sometimes, in defense, while you say catch your D, as we like to say, to keep it clean, she can't reel it in, but she knows that a touch is just enough to turn it over. BeybLadies have Phoenix has another chance on offense right now.
Rasheen Harris right in the end zone. Bit of a stumble there, travels, has to reset. Looks for McGregor. Big fakes, but can't manage to shake McLeod free. Puts one over the top. It's going to be Kieselol that eats it up. Brings it to the front of the end zone to reinitiate the offense. We're seeing BeybLadies a little bit slow to establish their downfield. They're trying to use the width with their handlers. Looks like they may have made a little bit of a shuffle to a horizontal stack instead. So they're looking to create those channels closer towards the disc and further into the downfield space.
Nice movement. Some good defensive pressure. It looks like there's a foul called on that play.
So Ellie Kinross having to eat a bit of a shoulder charge from Janes.
A few bumps we're seeing come out from Phoenix. They're coming out with energy and aggression, and that's resulting in a little bit of physicality. We saw Pippa Marsden take to the ground before in a catch she made, and here a little bit of a contact as well. It's showing, again, the energy that Phoenix is bringing. Looks like there's a foul, no contest, and great to see that communication happening on the field.
So we're going to see Kinross initiate now, marked by Janes.
Just goes up for the strike cut. Oh,
it's Marson again, putting the big shot up, looking for Kieselol. Manages to get a hand to it, but can't secure it.
Tricky catch. That's a challenging catch to make when it's coming right over the top of you like that.
Rasheen Harris trying to push towards the far sideline now. Janes cutting unmarked. Kinross a little bit slow to get into position, but manages to close off that channel. Rosingo manages to just slip that disc past the outstretched hands of Harris. It's not going to come away. Laura Schnauer now with the disc, supported by McLeod.
Really liked there in that possession was the continuation. Phoenix is making options for each other. Another defense. So we've got Phoenix again. So one thing I want to see again, hopefully they do again, is some great continuations. Not so looking to launch deep. What a beautiful throw.
Von Delay with a great put.
And they say, looks like there was a pick called on the field. Nonetheless, a great catch by Neve Hoare. And they say two hands. It's always safer to catch with two hands. Not the case when you've got safe hands like Hoare there. She, easily just reels it in.
Now, Kelsey, you mentioned that there was a pick on the field. What can you tell us about, what does that mean for those at home who might not know?
So picks on the field, a pick is a play in which, as a defender, you would have had to, or you did initiate contact when trying to play offense and follow the offensive player. So Frisbee is a non-contact sport. Anytime that there is contact or that contact could be drawn to avoid that potentially dangerous play, you can call a pick instead. And that just means that the disc goes back. You can clean up the space. We've been seeing, a little bit of congestion, especially around the disc. It's indicative when players are so close to each other. It can be difficult to play effective defense when there's other people who are congesting that, and that could initiate contact. The disc goes back to Vanderlee, and we'll see what happens again. Will it be a repeat?
Well, we've seen Neve Hoare with some very, very impressive foot speed. And And she's managing to generate necessary separation from her defender, which is fantastic. I mean, there's a little bit of argy-bargy there between her and Kinross. Sometimes it's just the nature of the game. But we've seen Hor be able to generate enough separation that she's going to make herself an option in the end zone. We see Harris marked by Schnauer, can't get that up line. Eaten up.
And that's actually a really impressive throw. It's easier when you're throwing those around breaks to throw them more horizontally, but she gets a finger to it and is throwing more downfield. The disc goes up.
It's Pippa Marson again.
She's looking for options, and I love that she's waiting for the right option to open up. We've seen a few turnovers where there's been that zeal to continue the throws downfield, but there's taking those safe options. Good to see BeybLadies just making those nice continuations, finding the open players. Not open there, though.
So that was Sam McGregor with the block there to generate the turn. Phoenix have a long field ahead of them. But we're seeing a lot of really aggressive defense, maybe a little bit more contact than some of the players on the field are going to be comfortable with. And we might see that unfold as players maybe become a little bit more timid towards the second half of the game. But we may not. We may see players use that as kind of an incentive or a motivation to really step things up. We see McLeod lets it rip, looking long. It's a lot of float. Touchdown by Vonderlei. It's not going to come away with the BeybLadies tie.
And we're seeing really great defense in the end zone here, regardless of open or break side. Just commenting on the positioning by Vonderlei previously with McGregor with that break side defense. They're in position no matter open or break side. Just a testament to the athleticism, the energy they're bringing to that defense.
Pop off, Queen.
Ladies there. A hand block.
She had to just shake the hotness out of that hand for a second. Good grief, what a touch. You could hear it from here. That's always the sign of a great hand block.
I hate that. Oh, that's heartbreaking to see a nice swing like that, that crisp release.
It's going to come back the other way unless she can get there. Not quite. What a great chase down by Niamh Hor, though.
Yeah.
Just the ability to adjust in midair as well is fantastic. Seeing how that disc is changing shape and gets it back anyway. What a touch through.
She's a player to keep an eye on, folks. Moving ahead in the coming years, this is what she's showing at this level. Niamh Hor, just give it a, season after season, she's going to be firing through.
Siahani Royal right on the doorstep with a laser throw. Tries to get it through to McGregor, but it comes in a little bit low, touches turf. It's great to see that the Phoenix, despite the fact that we're seeing quite a few turnovers, they're not letting it affect them. They're still running hard. They're still running aggressively. They're keeping that energy up. One of the biggest things about Ultimate is that typically you're only seeing substitutions at the conclusion of a point. We don't have rolling substitutions happening throughout the points. So the longer a point takes, the more you're gassing out not just yourself, but the other 6 members of your team who are on the field at the moment. So McLeod puts one up. What a great read there, but slight overcorrection there by Vonderlei. Can't get the interception.
That was an incredible breakthrough. Just such nice vision. McLeod with the disc. Oh, and it was a bit too high to reel in. A timeout called on the field. And Blair, you were just mentioning this. When you have the turnovers, it's not just the physical, you're keeping the point, you're stretching it out, but also mentally switching from offense to defense and staying present as you can. Where's the disc? Where's my defender? Now I'm on offense. Where's the danger space I can cut into an attack? It's really draining. So I think a really veteran move by Phoenix there, recognizing that, calling the timeout. I think it gives both teams a chance, especially here Phoenix, who called it, a chance to revisit what they're doing. How can we clean it up? Get the brooms out, sweep away the cobwebs, and just bring their clean game back to the field on offense.
Absolutely. I mean, they talk about something called a switch-focused lag, the implication being that when you are switching between multiple tasks in pretty much any setting, there's this momentary delay as your brain switches where things essentially just aren't working, and the cumulative effect of that over the course of a day, over an hour, can be quite taxing. So to recognize that we're moving between offense where you're about decision making and commitment, and the flip side of that on defense is reaction and effort. So having to make that mental switch from thinking, right, cool, I have the disc, my friends got the disc, they're going to throw to here, here's where I'm going to cut, and then if there's a turnover, if you're not able to get it, if those connections aren't dialed in, now you're playing defense. You've got to keep an eye on your defensive assignment and react to what they're doing. And then possibly if you generate a turnover, you have to go back to offense. It can be a very, very tiring thing. So calling a timeout at a point like this, is a great move by either team. It's going to give them an opportunity to really settle things in a little bit, maybe reconsolidate and figure, what do we need to do to close out this point, get some fresh legs on the field, and keep things going.
Another thing, great points, Blair, and another thing to add on top of that, just a thing that I think Phoenix could definitely, we see them in the huddle there, could be touching on. They're focusing on how they're coming out on this point, but you can't neglect how you're closing the point off. Phoenix has been doing such a great job at the throws and the catches, especially reeling in those catches they've been taking to the skies. You know, with those 50 options, it's been ending up, we see ULTI.TV there. Some players, some people normally behind the scenes, just on camera, but touching back on the field with Phoenix, they're doing such a great job at working it down that they're ahead right now. It's 3-2 to Phoenix, but one thing that they have been having hiccups is right at the end zone. They've been getting that red line fever, that white line fever, sorry, where they're excited, they're seeing that connection, and they're misfiring, and that one throw and catch they need to score the points is turning into a turnover, resulting in a turnover. So one thing that they could do to clean that up, that they no doubt have drilled Teatafai McGuinness as coach over here, no doubt, and Silberbauer, Tay, they've got a 3-person coaching support for the team, and no doubt one thing they've drilled is that end zone play. I'd like to see them, and I hope they discuss there, when they get to that white line, transition into the end zone. Who's making the cut? Where are they going? How can we ensure that this is a high percentage of turning, resulting in a point as opposed to a turnover?
So after that timeout, as they break, Phoenix are going to set up their offensive structure first, give BeybLadies the opportunity to respond by establishing their defense. We see Rosinho with the disc now. They're back in that match defense, doesn't overthrow. Number 40, Rasheen Harris, manages to get that read, that little adjustment. We see Marson on the mark.
And
a second
Marson,
touch.
She is fierce on the mark today. On offense, they're in the end zone, finding that open space. Incredible throw and release, beautiful execution, great vision to find it. I love that point. A really nice connection for BeybLadies.
And happy International Women's Day. I mean, I know it's not actually today. Realistically, it's International Women's Month. Maybe even International Women's Year. Maybe in our lifetimes, we'll hit a point where just people are people, man. I don't know. Dreams are free, but I'll tell you what else is free. Watching ULTI.TV bring you the very best in coverage on YouTube. However, it is an expensive thing to do, so we want to continue to bring you the very best in ultimate coverage here in New Zealand, in Australia, and around the world. So please head on over to patreon.com/ULTI.TV and give us your spare change. Help us bring you the very best athletes in the world, the very best sport in the world to your screens. Without your help, we can't bring you videos to your phone to look at instead of attending a work meeting. So,
whether during the week or on a Saturday like today. We see the fans in the crowd. Earlier we saw a bike passing through. Again, it's a beautiful day in Christchurch. Classic Canterbury conditions. Sun's out, no wind, and what a day to be playing Ultimate Frisbee. The disc goes up, and we've got Phoenix on offense, streaking down the field. They've been bringing such good energy thus far, and I'm stoked to see them carry that through.
That's Hamilton with the disc now, looking for Hayes on the near sideline. Big fake. Are we going to see Pippa's third hand block of the game?
She's hungry.
Nice and aggressive, but she puts the long shot up. It looks like it's fading out towards the near sideline. It's going to come a little wide.
You know, that did go out of bounds. I want to acknowledge that. It wasn't the cleanest throw. I am so stoked she threw that, though. Hayes showing the defense, showing Mazden on the mark, as well as, you know, the BeybLadies, that they need to respect that deep space, that's always an option from a disc where she's just standing there, that she and the team can launch those deep hucks. It floated out of bounds, but I'm really stoked that she threw that they're showing that on the field.
So we're seeing BeybLadies set up in a horizontal stack. It's Pippa Marson on the near sideline, supported by Sarah Silverman as that center handler. Some aggressive cuts by the BeybLadies, but they're marked aggressively by Del Pachitra. Manages to generate a turn on the reset. It's not going to come away. We see Mercer with the disc right close to the end zone.
She had the crystal ball out, just seeing where it was going to be, where she needed to be to make that defensive play. A little bit of divination on the Ultimate Frisbee field. Faking the open side, swinging break.
Silverman playing some smart defense. Was sagging off a little bit to stop the big hucks, and then on that reset, now the pressure's back on in the downfield space, closes in a lot, which is really great. We're going to see that big throw going up. Nice. It's not quite in. A great put up there by Hamilton. Nice. Swings back, finds Hayes, through for the end zone and the score.
And some really great movement. I really like to see the poise, the patience that Phoenix had there. You know, I commented before on how they felt a bit rushed. Some points that felt a bit rushed in the end zone. Here they're showing a bit more drilled experience, patience, waiting for the options to show up. And I love, you know, the slightly more risky throws. They're saying we need to make an option, and sometimes you have to have a little bit of faith. They throw it to the break side, waiting, swinging it back to the middle. I think that was such a... It was an experience point. It was really nice to see those connections out there, the whole team coming together.
So we are going to see another timeout being called by the BeybLadies this time, I believe. So Coach Hamish Thornton, a gentleman and a scholar, trying to do his best to make sure that his team, this group of ladies that have been brought together for a common purpose, just get the opportunity to speak about how their experience of the game is going, what they want to change, and just try and help to guide that conversation to take the brilliance that we're seeing from the BeybLadies and really just try and focus it through the lens of experience. On the flip side, we have the Phoenix also huddled up on the field. They're a point ahead. They're in a great spot. Their match defense has been working incredibly well. A couple of their players have demonstrated the ability to play really good heads-up defense. So they're not just looking at their assignments, they're trying to cast a wider scope for things. They're looking for opportunities to peel off their defender, to clog a lane, to get in the way of a throw, or potentially pick off some really, really tight options. We saw that. We've seen that with, with Janes already. Harris, I think, has had a couple as well. So it's really, really good to see. So that match defense is working out really well for them. We'll see what kind of insight their coaches. We've got Rob Silberbauer, Tiarafai McGuinness providing some insight. Huge fan of Tiarafai McGuinness. We've seen a lot of her in the mixed division, particularly through Credo. We're going to see her next weekend, I believe, for the Christchurch Cannons in Wellington. So there's a lot of experience on their side as well in terms of coaching. It'll be good to see what kind of insight the Phoenix are taking away from that halftime and what they're going to do in terms of coming out on defense now.
So we've seen Phoenix coming out with a lot of energy. As Blair was just mentioning, players like Hayes, Neve Hoare, Vanderlee, with such energy and aggression, just this energy they're bringing to the field. And right now, BeybLadies, I think we saw them performing and really exemplifying what they do best when that zone was coming out initially. They were patient with the disc, finding the options, finding that open space, really thinking creatively and intelligently to move the disc. However, with that match defense, they seem to be just a little bit more stagnant, struggling to find the open options, struggling to make those clean connections. One thing, they're on offense right now, but I would like to see is, I know they're from Wellington. They know how to throw and catch in the wind. We see them playing best again against that zone. I would like to see them play a zone against Phoenix, because Phoenix, it's a high turnover game. There have been quite a few turns in between points, and a zone, even while the conditions are quite calm, could put some more pressure on that. I'm really curious. No doubt they're well drilled. Any team that plays well against a zone offensively is also going to play well defensively. They train against each other. So on defense, that's something I'd like to see. Nonetheless, they're coming out on offense. I'd like to see more clean throws, clean cuts. Disc coming out centered to McLeod.
So we are seeing that match defense again from the Phoenix.
Oh,
what a grab. Cut that out.
Great release.
Finds Duchateau.
Oh.
Can't reconnect with Schnauer, going back the other way. So Phoenix have an opportunity here to widen the gap, bring it to a 2-point game.
Good decision, though. And when a disc is going to be turned, you like it to see turns like that happen. That it is a swing, a safe throw, a safe decision. The disc goes up.
Shot up for Hayes. Manages to come down with it as it fades back. A quick laser beam through.
Beautiful.
That looks like it's going to be Delpa Chitra's second back-to-back score, I believe.
Delpa Chitra showing that she has that intuition, understanding of where she needs to be in the end zone, finding that space and knowing the timing of when the disc is going to come up. Doing such a great job at being a threat in the end zone.
So just fantastic performance there by the Phoenix. I mean, it was great disc movement by the BeybLadies. And it's an interesting thing, Kelsey. You mentioned that you'd like to see the BeybLadies throw down a zone. I personally, I would love to see it too. Yeah, you've got a team whose culture is based around Wellington Ultimates, the windiest city in the world, as you said. And so the players there are used to throwing in suboptimal conditions, which means that zones are incredibly effective down there. And we're going to see a lot of that next weekend, I imagine. Because of that ability to sort of play in a zone, play against a zone, it'd be good to see how that translates to conditions that maybe aren't as conducive to that. Like we said, we don't have a huge amount of wind. So what are they, I guess if they're playing a zone, Kelsey, what are they trying to take away from the Phoenix by doing that?
Well, in playing a zone player, oftentimes you see they're opening up some options, but they're giving the options they want. You're controlling the game, and you're saying, I'm giving you this throw. I'm giving you more throws maybe, but I'm not going to let you score or move the disc to these strategic areas on the field. One thing that I think that would be helpful with BeybLadies on defense is that it would force more throws for Phoenix, and that's honestly just more room for error, more room to make a little mistake, make a bobble, drop the disc. However, they do need to score a point before they come down on defense. So they're on offense trying to make that happen right now. Beautiful strike cut as slash across the field on the underside, and the disc is in the hands
of Du Chateau, courtesy of Lou. Looking back, finds Marina. Kieselol threads one straight through. Finds Kinross.
I love to see that direction on the field whenever people with the disc show the hand signals they're communicating. An over-release downfield, Silverman can't reel it in, but she is on the mark. Picking up really soon. It's a really fast pickup while the team is still behind her. Nonetheless, Vanderlei is there.
Can't get the disc back to the hands of Rosingo. So we're back on defense. It's going to be Silverman to pick up and initiate. Very calm, very focused.
I'm excited to see the disc in her hand, so what's going to happen? She launches it deep! And it floats out.
Yeah, just a little bit of fade on that outside edge is going to carry it towards the far sideline. So it's going to give the disc back to Phoenix. We're going to see Rasheen Harris again, marked by Du Chateau. The defenders in the handler space are giving them a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, a bit of a saggy defense right there. That's quite common in Japanese Ultimate. We see people sagging off, and it could be helping to take away those deep options. Nonetheless, it resulted in a turnover. It was effective. So we see BeybLadies on offense. Silverman making a strike cut. Strong defense by Phoenix there.
Great work by Rosingo.
Nice flat forehand for the inside. Oh, nice movement.
It's Harris now with the disc.
And I really appreciate they're showing us launching it deep.
De Barletta,
yes!
Looking for and finding Vondelay for the score to widen up the game even further.
That is beautiful. That throw could go to prom, could be winning prom queen. It's, wow, beautiful throw. And what a great connection and great read from Vanderlei. She's in that space. She's making the run, and she doesn't even need to lay out for it into the safe hands. What a beautiful point. I was going to say before, though, in that point, Phoenix, they're making a lot of quick catches just there before that great execution. They were making a lot of quick passes, and I think it's important to say in Ultimate that and recognize in Ultimate that while, yes, having an arsenal of throws in your back pocket, a wide range of throws, being able to throw really far, really long, that actually just pop passes and really short connections between the team are really, really important. Why make it a difficult throw if you can just make those quick connections? Great smile there. She's so stoked about that point.
So again, this is going to be a game to 13, which means we will take our halftime break when the first team reaches 7. At the moment, that looks to be the Phoenix, currently up by 3, only 1 point away from taking half, but still anybody's game. BeybLadies with an opportunity to come back out on offense. We're seeing some familiar names again. Kieselol, Marson, McLeod, some great players on both sides of the disc for this point. It's going to be really, really good to see how this one unfolds. A nice pull there from the Phoenix.
And you mentioned this, Blair. I think it's also important to recognize that teams tend to fire at different points in the game. Sometimes teams come out really strong. Sometimes they're second half or they close up a game really strong. So BeybLadies, while they're down right now, we'll see. Maybe they will start firing. It is still anyone's game. What a great catch running through to clean it up. Schuler for options. She arrived a little bit late, I think. She was flying in this morning. Apparently conditions in Wellington not so great right now.
A laser beam straight through. Back to Schuler via Marson, marked by McGregor, I believe. Or no, it's Neve Hoare, I think, on defense there. Siahani Royal now marking up against the disc. Going to see Kieselol
Oh.
There's the touch. It's Neve Hoare again with a great block there, immediately pushing that into a deep cut.
Keep your eyes on her, folks. She's going to be rising through the ranks. She's had such incredible display of athleticism, great intuition on defense, beautiful running and cuts on offense.
Yeah, get your Neve Hoare supporter kit today, folks. There'll be collectibles before long.
McLeod picking up the disc, off to the races, launching it before the stall looks like it even started. Oh, a tricky swing there. I love the vision. A little bit too much, though.
Oh, great defense there. Huge just presence by Kiri O'Hara there to get that defensive shutdown. Just recognizing, hey, there's they're going for Huck and they're not looking. I can just get in front of it and it's going to be enough.
It's something I'm always nervous about in quick transitions like that. It means you lose the quick transition, but nonetheless, it potentially stops a defensive play like that. Great positioning. Mazen with the disc. Mazen, sorry.
And it's going to be McLeod now. Puts a break up, but it's going to be eaten comfortably by Rasingo.
Phoenix, of course, it's a mythological, magical bird. It's a creature, but Phoenix also showing, I think, some mythological skill with reading where the defense is, where the throw is going to go. They're doing such a good job of catching the disc. Just missed there, but knowing where it's going to be and being in the position to eat it up. I'm loving this defensive pressure. We've got BeybLadies making some great connections on McLeod, attacking it there, launching it deep to the open side. I love that throw.
It's a great option, but it's not going to come away with a score here.
I'm sad. That was such a nice throw.
It was a beautiful, beautiful thought process there behind that one. It's one of those things, particularly, I think we're seeing a lot of, we're just seeing maybe a slight lack of precision on some of these attempts at break throws. The thinking, the option taking is great. It's just we're seeing a little bit of the wrong disc fade on some of these discs, and that's where some of these turnovers are coming from. The option taking is excellent. We see one more time Rasheen Harris with the disc working with DeBarletta.
Great catch by Siohani Royal.
Puts one over the top, finds Zarifa, but can't get it in hands. It's going to go to turf. It's going to give McLeod an opportunity to reinitiate as BeybLadies set up in what looks like a kind of scrambled stack, looking to resolve into a horror stack now.
Oh, yep, there's the third handler back. It's a horror, absolutely. Pippa swinging wide. Sorry, that's Mazen swinging wide. Oh, no. Launching through the open hands. I want to recognize that oftentimes when catching on offense, it's really helpful to have your body behind the disc. It reduces the chance of the disc, again, going through your hands in that pancake catch.
Siohani Royal chipping around, finds Harris, puts a long shot up. It's high. McLeod's going to have time, and it's going to fade back. That's the way that BeybLadies are going to play defense. They're going to get underneath those discs. It's Marson. Puts it up. Kieselall over the top of Siohani Royal.
High floaty discs from both teams coming up. They're maybe players are leaning back a little bit when they're launching them. Nice flat throw.
That's going to be Shula with the disc. Manages to find.
I love that flow, though. Again, if a turnover is going to happen, I like to see it happen that way. It's a safe decision. It's a really great flowy pass. The stall was at 0 when she released it, seeing her open player.
That's DeBarletta with the disc on the far sideline now. The wind picking up a little bit. It's not super consistent, just a little bit gusty. But it looks like it might be having an impact. We're just seeing some of these connections get missed.
Feeling that breeze for the first time today. Mazen with a relatively flat mark, it looks like there.
Manages to slip one straight through the hands of Shula for a turnover. So we're going to see the Phoenix pick up and initiate coming back the other way.
Nice low release pass. They're favoring the sideline right now, looking at the strike cut, launching it deep. Oh, what a great
slight
catch.
Overthrow to Harris.
Oh no, that's the second time we've seen that error for that open side forehand.
Not quite in. Phoenix looking to close out Siohani Royal with a pop pass straight through.
Classic Siohani Royal.
To take Phoenix all the way to half. They do not have any ashes to rise from at the moment as they are up by 4 points going into the second half of the game. The first game of our streamed coverage of the women's division in the 2024 Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships. My name, as always, is Blair Munro.
I'm Kelsey Bielik.
And we will be back with you after a short break.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And welcome back to what is going to be an exciting second half of the first game of the stream coverage of the 2024 New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2.
So that's a second stream game here.
But of the women's division. So it's our first women's division. I promise I know numbers, and the only numbers that we really care about right now are 7 and 3, the current score between the Phoenix and BeybLadies, but also a couple of other numbers for those watching at home. 40, Rasheen Harris, who's been doing some fantastic work. We've also got number 20, Debarletta for Phoenix. 35, Del Pachitra, who has put 2 scores on the board. We've also got 11 for the BeybLadies, Pippa Marson, Melissa McLeod, number 1, Lauren Duchateau, 13, Ellie Kinross, 14, Sarah Silverman, 52, who have been doing some fantastic work in the offensive space for the BeybLadies. Pippa Marson, who is just absolutely popping off. She's had, I think, 2 hand blocks this game already.
Yeah, she's
a
menace on the mark.
One of which, the echoes of which are going to reverberate throughout history. But it's going to be Sarah Silverman with the pull as the BeybLadies come out on defense to kick off the second half. I say kick off. Ideally, you shouldn't be using your feet to throw a Frisbee.
We've seen some round balls on the sideline, but just a reminder, this is flat ball we're playing here in ULTI.TV Christchurch today. Also, I just bring the attention back to the score, 3-7. While we see that Phoenix have a little bit of a lead, it's anyone's game still, and there's so many teams that just start firing in the second half. Can BeybLadies pull it together? Can they come back? They've got a little bit of a gap to make up, but I'm going to say they can do it if they want that. Silverman with a disc, commanding the field. Looking at a slash cross across the front, assessing options and launches it deep.
Greatly eaten up there by Hayes, 42 for the Phoenix. Quick push to the far sideline.
And I've been really enjoying Hayes on offense and defense. She's shown the throws. She's shown that she can be in that deep space and here make those defensive plays as well. Such a multi-tool of a player. She's everywhere.
Del Pachitra with the disc now, marked by Schnauer. Manages to go to Hamilton to find Hayes near sideline.
Hayes looking at her options. There's a
scuba touched. A lot of impact on that one.
And it's such an interesting option looking at the scuba there. It was an open side scuba throw, but I think it was actually really intelligent because she needed to throw across over quite a few people. There was a little bit of congestion there.
Now, it's one of those interesting things where while they're discussing this on the field, so a couple of things just to draw your attention to. Ultimate, for those watching at home, is a self-officiated sport. Now, realistically, as we watch that replay, we can see that Kinross has picked her line as a defender, and it looked like the receiver was actually turning back around and into the path. So they'd actually committed to a change of direction. So I do wonder whether or not they had the opportunity to see Kinross and could have maybe pulled out of that attempt. It's just one man's opinion, but as it's a self-officiated sport, what it happens is it's going to come down to the players on the field to make those calls and that decision. So it looks like that was contested. The disc is going to go back to number 42, Hayes for the Phoenix. Hamilton finding Hayes.
And I love that Mercer there making an ankle-breaking cut. So sharp, looks like she fell over and maybe broke her own ankles. You know what they say, though, the disc don't lie. There's a foul call, disc went back, but Phoenix puts the biscuit in the basket anyway. And a great point on the board.
For Hamilton, for the Phoenix.
And, you know, we're here to watch Ultimate Frisbee and respect the game, respect the beautiful catch there in the point, but also you have to shout out for style where style is due. And she looks so fly with those leopard print tights under her shorts. Just want to express the style and respect for style for scoring that point, as well as looking great on the field in every way. We've got Phoenix now coming out on defense. So one more time, sorry there. As it happens,
jumped in by Hamilton, number 19 for the Phoenix. It's going to take them to 8-3, so they're going to come out on defense now. As you said, Kelsey, we're going to see the BeybLadies take the field for offense. It's going to be McLeod. We are seeing Schuler as well.
Handling, we're seeing them commanding the field really a lot in that handler space. And Phoenix really recognizing the strength that BeybLadies bring to the field when they're forced to be in those slightly slower decision-making spaces. As such, they're matching up on defense as match defense more often. I expect we'll see that right now as well. Just adding more intensive pressure. And Phoenix has been doing such a fantastic job of reading where the disc is going to go, getting into that positioning, and making those run-through Ds. You know, playing less shutdown defense, which is absolutely fine, but resulting in those turnovers, which has been so effective for them. Here we've got McLeod with the disc.
Taylor can't stop the reset as the disc comes around to Kerry O'Hara for the BeybLadies. Puts one to the turf. It's going to give Phoenix an opportunity to turn it into a 6-point game. We see a great cut developing in the deep space by McKenzie.
Mercer throws a break. Oh, I love that.
Hayes putting it up.
What a great point.
Hayes to Hayes. It's May to Marla in March as Phoenix go up by 6. So the score is now 9-3 in this game to 13.
And I'm such a fan of May Hayes. Again, she's been coming out on defense, coming out on offense, really showing up in this game. And I'm such a fan of her forehand huck down the field. We've got some more ULTI.TV players. I'm calling them players. We are the sideline players here, bringing this streaming to you.
Hi, Felix.
But Phoenix back on the screen with that beautiful floaty. It's got a slight edge to it, fades flat, and Hayes with the point.
Now, anyone who knows me knows that I love a gentle outside-in forehand. From people who can throw them. Not me, obviously, but for players, there's nothing I love more than just this gentle outside-in forehand. So the outside edge of the disc is just up, which means it's going to fade back towards a right-handed throw as the left-hand side of the body, as we've seen there. So that beautiful shot there by May Hayes, putting it up for Marla Hayes, is just it's textbook. It's my favorite throw in the whole world.
Well, tough to beat that.
Apart from maybe Emery Crane's no-look behind the back scuba for a score in the previous game.
Staff, if you want to see that game happened just prior to this one, and if you want to continue to support the streaming services and work that ULTI.TV is bringing to you here, streaming this event, be sure to head to their patreon.com and chuck some spare change their way. We have BeybLadies on offense, commanding the field, swinging the disc, showing a lot of movement in the handler space. On the break side, look at this handler movement. Again, just doing such a great job capitalizing on the width of the field. Finding that open cut under.
Schuler trying to get something open. Marson stumbles a little bit, but Kieselol is going to pick it up anyway. There's a question as to whether or not there was a stoppage. I think Marson may have called possible interference, maybe a foul.
Offensive foul.
That maybe impacted her run. A little cheeky ankle tap.
Or abilities for the defense to make a play on the disc here is what I imagine the defender is arguing. Let's see that again.
So I'm wondering, what I think has happened there is that Pippa's stumble was probably related from maybe incidental contact with the defender. Considering that it was a completion and the BeybLadies retained possession, they're going to, looks like it's I think a retracted call. So we're going to resume play as though that call hadn't happened. And I think that's a really good display of spirit from both teams. Hey, I was fouled. I mean, it isn't really going to have an impact on the rest of the game. So we might as well pretend as though it didn't count. Or at least proceed as though it didn't count.
And great positioning and backup there, recognizing that, you know, if Mawson didn't catch the disc, which here she didn't, that there was that backup support to pick up just in case.
So Kieselol has the disc now. Finds McLeod near sideline.
She fakes deep, assessing the options downfield, launches for that deep option again.
Finds Kinross in the end zone for the score. Sorry, I think that's... Just wait for them to turn around. Might be Kerry O'Hara with the disc. No, it was Kinross.
Sneaky decision. I really love that from McLeod. And also Kinross on offense downfield. Looking, she made that deep cut initially. It was faked, looked off, and then Kinross just makes another cut off of that. Still stays open, but the defense, potentially recognizing, oh, it didn't go up to the player I was on. Loses focus for just a moment, which Kinross can capitalize on, McLeod can capitalize on to convert into a point.
And so it goes back to a 5-point game. BeybLadies now 4 against the Phoenix 9. They will be coming out on defense. So it's going to be an opportunity here for the side from Christchurch to go to double digits, really open up that 6-point game again. We know that they have the capability to do it. We've seen a lot of aggressive downfield offense, so a lot of great work, some hard work and aggression from those cutters. Sam McGregor is a big one, Neve Hoare, number 10, Vondelay as well, particularly when we get her to see her working in through that handler space. Del Pachita as well, just huge. The Phoenixes have clearly cultivated a great downfield core of players. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do for the rest of the match.
Just commentary, we saw a player there wearing Credo kits on the sideline. Phoenix as part of the wider Credo club, and representing this women's club here. A lot of aggression on the mark leads to falling over. Great to see that energy on defense, though.
Someone probably needs to tell De Barletta that slavery's been outlawed and you can't just sell people like that. But it's going to be a turnover regardless. It's going to give the disc back to Sarah Silverman for the BeybLadies, who threads one through to Kieselol.
Kieselol looking for options, faking under and opting for the swing cut.
That's Schnauer.
And I love the energy that Schnauer's bringing right now, that, like running onto the mark, fighting to get open.
A dirty little breakthrow, but cannot connect to Beneventi.
Vanderlei hits it down. And we're hearing shouts from the sideline from Coach McGinnis as she's counting it down as the disc is going to get open, ensuring that cuts are happening before stall 1.
Nice work. Then we're just chaining back-to-back up lines for the score. It's going to be Zarifa to put it on the board and go to double digits. So that was Vondelay.
Separation. Yeah, from Vondelay right there. It reminds me of Jessie Schaffner as in her Callahan video. Just where's the defense? She's so open.
That is huge praise for those who may not be super aware. So Jessie Schaffner, who's played pretty extensively with Nashville Shine over the last couple seasons in the American club scene. Arguably one of the greatest female matching players we've probably ever had. I mean, you've got Claire Trope and Jessie Schaffner, and there's probably a couple of other names, but I think those are probably two of the most well-known in American Ultimate in the women's division. So high praise indeed, Kelsey, but well-earned seeing those two great uplines. We're going to see it coming through there. Look,
it was just so much separation.
The point.
Where's the defense? She's so fast, so furious. Oh, what a great catch.
And Zarifa being the one to pull that down for the score. The score is now 10-4. We're going to see the BeybLadies coming out on defense.
Yeah, just some great offense in general from Phoenix there. They're really, I know I commented on momentum in the beginning. Sometimes teams come out firing in the second half, but Phoenix here doing a really great job of keeping the game their own, keeping their energy alive. Really, at this point, it's a matter of BeybLadies at what point can they dial in. Phoenix is on the train a little bit. They're really pulling away. They started it in the first half and they're carrying through to the second. So BeybLadies need to throw a wrench in those gears. What can they do to slow it down? They, I think, offensively need to be making those connections, just hungry for those points. They've got another option here on offense. Silverman with her hand up indicating she's ready, and the disc goes up.
So it's a high pull from Hamilton. It's going to touch down in their own defensive half, but it's going to give them opportunity to set up whatever defensive structure they're looking for.
Great centering, safe throw to Silverman.
A little bit of a Blady laser, or a Lady Blazer, who can say? Not quite able to find the hands on the continuation on that up line to the near sideline. So BeybLadies back on defense now. That is Angela Rogers applying pressure on the mark. Mackenzie's able to get it.
And some safe, small passes here, finding those open unders. We know that Phoenix has the ability to hawk, to launch it deep, though. So So it's just, we know they have those options. A lot of safe under throws right now, though.
Saw Shorky.
She has those. What was I just saying?
What a take.
Hayes just showing such power behind those forehands. I love her forehand hook.
And that is going to be Mackenzie with the score to bring Phoenix 2 away from a win in this game to 13.
One more time. Great read, great catch in the end zone. And just commenting also on that high five we've seen Silverman with quite a few of those high fives. You know, while they've ceded a point, it's really lovely to see the spirit that both teams are bringing to the field. You know, regardless of who's scoring, that recognizing the energy, the sportsmanship, sportswomanship that both teams are bringing. And, you know, high fiving regardless of the outcome, just keeping that positivity there.
It's one of the unique things about Ultimate is the fact that a huge part of, and to the point where it's almost codified, it's just the idea of taking a positive sportspersonship towards play. Respect for yourself, respect for your opponents. If you don't have those, you don't actually have a game. If you don't have a game, we don't have a stream. And if we don't have a stream, I would probably still be in bed, and I don't want that. And neither do you. I would much rather be down here with my friend Kelsey at Bob Dean's Field, talking you through some of the very best Ultimate that you're going to see in the Southern Hemisphere, which is not a slight on Australia. I promise we're going to see a few Australian teams in our Open Division a little bit later on. But it's going to be Phoenix with the pull to come out on defense.
Really doing well with that match, being so effective in shutting things down. McLeod with the disc. And the force is consistently forehand. I think that's a good idea for them. We've seen a few wobbly forehands come out, or here, case in point, floating a little bit higher. I think both teams really forcing forehand, and again, I would support that. I think that's a strong strategic move.
Great touch on that one by Naitoro. He's going to pull that one down. Del Pachitro with the disc, marked by McLeod, gets the left hand forehand around to the far sideline.
Phoenix in a horizontal stack, which we've also seen consistent throughout the course of the game. Not many options, but really safely finding those swing passes.
So Hayes has it now, engaging with the mark, pushing towards near sideline for Del Pachitra. Tries to put one up, but it's going to be eaten down by Duchateau.
Good decision there. I mean, open option, nice option to take. And when turnovers happen, I like to see them happen like that. That next time, that's going to be a connection.
Oh.
Breakthrow down the sideline results in a turn.
Trying to find Nakazono. Now, I think based on her foot positioning, even if she'd caught that probably would have still been a turnover based on her in-out status. It's going to be Del Pachitra again, making great work of those undercuts, working with Hayes to really push the disc up in the field. And as long as they're taking only one step back for every 2 steps forward, they're going to walk away with yet another point. We see Hamilton again pushing towards the far sideline.
Nice cheeky inside-out backhand.
That's Taylor looking for for Hamilton, sorry.
Hamilton really running things. Just what great teamwork that point as well.
To Shorky. It's Bella Shorky for the score as Phoenix come one away from a victory in the second game of our stream coverage, the first for the women's division.
McLeod there on the screen, who's been really, really a pivotal player in the BeybLadies offense handling. And high fives all around for Phoenix. Again, they're really riding that momentum. That, you know, high fives has been shown actually statistically that when teams high five each other more, they perform better as a team. There's more trust. There's that physical connection, which leads to these throwing connections, throwing and catching connections that we're seeing, case in point right there on the field. Such a beautiful, flowy ultimate.
And to put that in something that you might want to get as a tattoo, the team that high fives together thrives together. We're going to see Phoenix come out on defense for what might be the last point of the game if they can generate a turn and convert. We've seen them able to do it, but consider who they're facing off against, the BeybLadies. We've seen some pretty solid offensive structure and strategy and skill from the BeybLadies. So we're going to see which walks away with the end of this point. A great little roller pull. So it's going to take BeybLadies a little bit of time to get set up, although as it's rolled back, they've lost a few yards to the BeybLadies offense. So we're going to see Sarah Silverman pick up to initiate.
And Vertical stack downfield for the BeybLadies. Cuts right off the bat. Good to see that those initiating cuts happening. People are running open. However, it's hard to get around that defense. They're stuck to them like glue. Phoenix is really playing hard match. It's an MO, you know. It's how they operate with something that we've seen consistent throughout the whole course of the game. An uncharacteristic drop by Silverman. It was a tricky catch to make, though.
Yeah, I think the throw came a little bit behind her, so the direction that she was moving, she had to course correct a little bit more than you normally would in order to try and catch that one.
Oh, no.
A little bit of miscomms there for Vondelay.
Behind the player, and we did see Phoenix actually warming up even for the second half of those throws and catches, but ensuring you're throwing to the space that the player's moving into. Case in point before with the drop for Silverman, case there with Vondelay. Important to throw ahead of the players to allow them to run onto the disc instead of making that tricky change in direction to lean back and make the catch.
Nice around shot to Kinross as...
And Niamh Hoare, I mean, she's been such a formidable defender as well as a strong offensive player, but there she can't get into position enough.
Puts one through to Schuler.
Nice movement by BeybLadies right there.
Schnauer trying to work that near sideline, but can't get open enough. It's going to get eaten up. There's Niamh Hoare again. Oh, no, not Niamh Hoare, sorry, my mistake. Samantha McGregor to intercept that one. Looking for Rasheen Harris. Puts one through to Vondelay. Big fakes trying to get around Angela Rogers. Pushing towards the far sideline. It's Harris again. Can she close the game out? Putting a nice one up and high.
No.
Vondelay can't secure it. It's going to give the BeybLadies one more opportunity to work back the other way. We're seeing Silverman to pick up and initiate again.
Loved that throw. We're seeing really nice flow from both teams right now. I love a hammer fake too, especially at this point in the game. But really nice flow. It's just a stagnant stack. Before we heard McGinnis again, coach for the Phoenix, counting down 3, 2, 1 before the disc is live, ensuring that cuts are happening. And we need, I think, a similar voice for BeybLadies right now, counting down 3, 2, 1. I want to see a bit more movement and flow happening. The disc goes up. Silverman trying to make it happen, but it sees its way to the turf.
Oh, almost managing to slip through by Rogers. What a great attempt. It's curving. Silverman not able to get a touch on it, and that is going to be the game.
Why jump for the disc when it's coming straight to your breadbasket?
Absolutely. And
Breadbasket's where it's at. It's noon.
even though the Phoenix is a Firebird, the bread in the basket is not burnt. Phoenix coming out on top over the BeybLadies. A fantastic performance by both of these teams. Some great ultimate on display. We are going to be back with you relatively shortly for another game. This time based on the slight asymmetry in the pools that it's going to be a game to 15 with a slightly longer time cap. We will remind you of that during that coverage. But until then, my name is Blair Munro.
I'm Kelsey Bielik.
This is the Division 2 Open and Women's Division New Zealand Ultimate Championships here at Bob Deans Field in Otautahi, Christchurch. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be with you in the next one.
Matewa.
ULTI.TV